they will be able to provide more information for learners. Now, the extent of indicating the sources of your information is because peradventure you may not be around to take the class. If a substitute teacher is going to take the class on your behalf, he will have the materials, he will know where to get the information in case he wants to prepare for the class. And so that when he has contacted the sources of information, he will be at a vantage position to be able to teach the learners appropriately. And peradventure, if your supervisor doubts that information you have provided in the class, you can easily tell the supervisor that I got the information from so source. And the supervisor can now verify. Now, what do you get from the reference material? The information you are providing in the class. And that information is written under another subheading called the content. The content in the lesson plan is supposed to be the summary of the information you are providing, not the detailed explanation. In fact, in the university manual provided, the student teacher is provided only 1.5 pages for the content. I wonder the information you are going to provide for 40 minutes, if everything can be written in 1.5 pages, or the information you are providing for 80 minutes, if everything can be written in 1.5 pages. So the content should contain the summary of the knowledge you are going to provide to learners. And don't forget, it is this summary that will form the note you are going to give to learners at the end of the day. After the content, how will the teacher present the lesson? Your style of presentation is stated under presentation. That's another major subheading. And the presentation is presented in steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, so on and so forth. In some cases, the step 1 can be the introductory activity. The introductory activity is that area in which the teacher starts or introduces the lesson to learners. Your introductory activity must be captivating, must be interesting, must arouse the interest of learners. Now, the introductory activities can be 1, taken from the previous knowledge. It's usually good to start from what students have known and then bring it down to the new topic. If you want to introduce the lesson by asking questions, for instance, you can ask 1 or 2 questions from the previous knowledge and 1 or 2 questions from the new topic. So if they are unable to answer the new topic, then you now pick it from there. That shows the relationship between your old knowledge and the new knowledge, because knowledge must be cumulative. New knowledge must be built on old knowledge. So you start from known to unknown. That's presentation. So if your step 1 is presentation, now your step 2, you will have stated your objectives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is not advisable to state only 1 objective or 2 statements of objective. State as many as possible. So if your presentation step 1 is introductory activity, your step 2 must be related to objective 1. Your step 3 must be related to objective 2. Your step 4 must be related to objective 3, and so on and so forth. Now, in writing the presentation step, there's something the teacher must take note of. The step must have what we call the triadic relationship. It must reflect the triadic relationship. And what is the triadic relationship? In that step, you must indicate teacher's activity. You must indicate the subject matter you are going to provide to learners, and you must indicate the student's activity. For instance, the teacher may say, let's say the teacher wants to teach the learners pronunciation of the word family. He can write as a step, teacher leads the learners to pronounce the word family. Or the teacher leads the learner to pronounce the word family. Now, what is the teacher activity there? Leading. What is the student's activity there? Following the teacher. So the teacher is leading the learner to pronounce. It may be pronouncing it after him. He is leading them. Then, what is the subject matter? Family. So the teacher leads students to pronounce the word family. The 3 features or variables I've shown there. Teacher's activity, student activity, and the subject matter. So in your step, these 3 variables must show. Now, so when step 1 or step 2 take care of objective 1, objective 2, and so on and so forth, there's a step that is very, very essential that teachers must not miss. What is this step? If you have exhausted all the objectives, now there must be a period for welcoming questions from students. So the teacher will say, teacher allows students to ask questions on areas not clear to them. Or teacher welcomes questions from students on areas not clear to them. It's very essential because while you are teaching, one or two of the students may be sleeping or may miss a point and wants you to expatiate on that point. If you don't give him that opportunity to ask questions, he may miss that point totally. So that is why that period, that step should be indicated. So you now say, okay, students, do you have any question to ask? Those that have questions will raise up their hands and they will ask their questions, and then you will explain the points to them. So that is about presentation. Now, after presentation, there's another subheading called summary. That summary is summary of the lesson. Teachers, especially student teachers, have been making a mistake of summarizing the content under summary. No. The summary itself is more or less another step. Then how do you write that step? You simply say, teacher summarizes the major points discussed with the students. Or teacher briefly reviews the major points discussed with the student. It's more or less a step. So anybody that comes to that stage, you know that, okay, you are going to summarize what you have discussed. You say, okay, students, so far we have discussed about family. We said this is definition of family. We have so types of family and so on and so forth. So students that did not get any information before may now get that summary. So the summary is to drive home what you have taught the students. Then, evaluation. What is evaluation? Evaluation is the determination of the extent to which educational objectives have been achieved. Now, if that is the definition of evaluation, it means we want to determine whether we have achieved the objectives we have stated before or not. Then how do we evaluate in the class? By asking questions. So it means on every objective stated, there must be a question. So objective 1, ask a question. Objective 2, ask a question. Objective 3, ask a question. If students are able to answer the questions for all of the objectives, it means you have achieved the objective. If they are unable to answer one of the questions, it means the objective the question is related to has not been achieved. So the best thing is for the teacher to now recap the information there. So that is the essence of. So in our lesson plan, the evaluation, the content, and the statement of objective must be related. They must be related under must. And lastly, assignment. Assignment is take-home work. Now, assignments can be in two forms. One, it can be further work on what I've taught them, or it can be work on preparation for the next topic. So, if you want students to still learn more about what you have taught to them, you can give them assignment, form of question or whatever related to the topic you have taught them. But if you want them to get prepared for the next lesson, you can now give them an assignment, topic or whatever in whatever form on the next one. I want to advise that you don't give students reading assignments. Majority of them will not read. Students we teach nowadays are always preoccupied when they go home. There are many things that attract the attention of students in the society. So the best thing to do is give them written assignment. However small or short it is, let it be written. So by the time they come to the next class, you can ask them, okay, student, you have submit your assignment, and they'll be able to present something. Those that do not do the assignment now will have nothing to present. While writing the assignment, they will read it. So you get them prepared for the next, and then you must mark the assignment. But where you have large classes, if you're unable to finish the marking, just pick 1, 2, or 3, ask them to submit the assignment to you. You mark at your leisure and return to them. You must make sure you give students feedback on whatever work you give them in order to motivate them, in order to know their shortcomings or their areas of good performances. So the other subheadings that are left are supervisor's comment and supervisor's name and signature and date. Those ones are for the supervisor. But the other ones we have mentioned are the ones that the student teacher must get prepared. preparing a lesson before going to the class is very, very essential, because an unprepared lesson may be reasonably successful in the hands of an experienced teacher, but in the hands of a novice or a new teacher, an unprepared lesson is going to be a total failure. So it is very, very advisable for the teacher to prepare his lesson, to get prepared before going to the class. If the teacher is not prepared for a lesson or a class, he will begin his lesson where he's supposed to end it and end his lesson where he's supposed to begin. So such presentation will not be systematic. To have a systematic presentation of lesson in the classroom, the teacher must always get his lessons prepared